Hello, my name is Ella Schmidt, and we're going to be talking about the teaching discussion post today. And so we have been talking about the 4 steps of teaching, how it includes the learner, the design instruction, teaching instruction, and then feedback. And one of the reasons why I have such a high respect for teachers is because people learn differently, and whether it's they do better by themselves, they're a visual learner, they're an audio learner, they're a hands-on learner. There's so many different types of learners. So trying to learn how to accommodate for that is something that you have to consider. So if I were a teacher, one of the ways I would learn to motivate my students is through feedback. I found that as we do feedback in our own classes, it's very helpful because not all the feedback is critical. It highlights what our strengths are and areas of improvement. So it allows us to not only get feedback from people who have the experience, but it also allows us to self-reflect and be like, okay, where are my goals at? And I'm capable of, reaching this goal within this amount of time. And I have these teachers, I have the support to help me reach that. So I think continuing to have that support and then offering, here's my contact as a professor. If you have any questions, reach out to me. Having that as a line in case if anything's not making sense. So just having that support, I think, would help with the motivation of the students. I think when it comes to methods, because there's so many different learning styles, I think that the mixed method is really good, having half in-person classes, half online, especially like asynchronous. Everyone's schedule is different. It gives them a little more freedom to kind of learn at their own pace and be able to take notes the way that they best can learn. And then when they are working in person, they'll be able to ask questions, but there's also expectations set before you go in person. So it's like having that mixed, I think, is a good variety, and it can cater to different learning types. But that being said, some of the barriers that I can see in this instruction, and I came up with this also, or I ran into this during my teaching competency, is things on paper does not always play out smoothly in person. Whether it's like a step-in-step instruction or if it's like a schedule, things come up. Some activities take longer than you plan on paper, or there's factors that you didn't consider when you were writing things down. And so how you overcome this barrier is just learning to be flexible. You can still get to those end objectives. It just might not look exactly how it did on paper. So that's one of the barriers that I can foresee happening and will likely happen in a teaching setting, but it's something that you can work through. And then do I see myself in academia in the future? I'm not sure. I love OTA so far from what I've learned. I think I'd want to definitely be in the field for a certain amount of time, really get confident in a lot of different areas before I consider teaching it. I noticed in our teaching competency, like being confident in our current thing before teaching it to other people is so important. So I think that'd be the same in the future if I were to ever become a teacher. I definitely want to be familiar with OTA first before becoming one, but thank you for listening. Sorry if I said like 100 times.